Ahoy there, world! And so today, going to be doing a video on the TNU Talks series of basically explaining what Itsukai is. So, for those that have no idea, Itsukai is the one of the unaffiliated stories in the TNU universe. It occurs in a separate planet on, basically, it's occurring at the same time as the rest of the story, but it's on an alternate planet. Basically, they're so far away in the galaxy, they don't really know about the rest of the universe. So, Itsukai is basically a story of the Hinshu Empire owns the vast majority of the world, and they created their own timeline and all that stuff. But what the main thing about this story is it is about people who make contracts with other, basically spirit beings. And for that, I'm going to go, here we go, the glossary of terms. So, you obviously have the contractors, the people who, align with a spirit. Occurs on the world of Alan Morin. Some of these other things aren't mentioned as much. Pretty much everyone in the story is part of SNEF. That's not even used anymore. So the three stories of this follow different groups within SNEF and within the other organizations. So the first one, which obviously is this guy, Guardians of Freedom, follows Anna Kai Maria. People just call her Maria. And the people who work with her, Martin, the spirit she's contracted with, who's also a lord, and then the people that work with her, like Jean is one of the people. There was this wonderful cat guy that worked with her as well. But basically, pretty much what this story follows is kind of plots by the evil spirits on this planet, trying to basically take things over, kill off as many people as they can, and that sort of thing. So basically what Maria and the people that she works with do is try and stop that. The next story is Battle of Kaimori. It focuses on another planet called not planet, country called Kaimori. And basically it follows initially Mari, who is the daughter of the vice president of La Viesta, which is one of the parts of the Hinshu Empire. La Viesta is part of a mega nation called Zen, and Zen is part of the Honshu Empire. So it's kind of weird. But basically, she is the daughter of the vice president, and she gets captured. A bunch of things happen, and because of that, the Laviesti government assigns a bunch of people to deal with the problem, and it eventually leads to this Olsen Corporation, and then they meet up with Sophie Archer, at which point Sophie kind of becomes one of the main characters, and her contract with, what's his name? Kinshi. He's another Lord Spirit that basically endows himself into a sword, and she uses his power to basically fight evil. And all of this, so Mari and Shauna were main characters here, then Shauna and Sophie, and I believe Chapter 5 goes to a whole different person. You can tell I hadn't really... Oh wait, no, Yumi is one of the support agents that helps people. At one point I wanted to turn this into a novel. I think I still might eventually turn this into a short story or something, but Overcoming Madness is also just another story arc within the thing. So, kind of gives you a little bit more background on one of Sniff's bases. This probably does a much better job at explaining this than I do. So, yeah. The Ariyoshi Trinity is basically the kind of like higher-ups of the evil organization within the story. And yeah, this definitely does a better job at explaining it than I do. So, basically that's kind of the gist of this particular project. Sophie is one of the only crossover characters that's existed, and she kind of gets sent over to the other. Initially, with this Dimensions story, I was planning on having people come over from the TNU Core to kind of cameo over here and have things happen, but that didn't actually ever pan out. And one of our other GMs was trying to get people together to kind of just do a basic story of this, but that also did not pan out either. So eventually what I may do is just kind of connect this to the main story somehow. But yeah, the other, so I said I was just going to cover Itsukai in this video, but I'll just cover as many of the side kind of other stories as I can get my hands through. So I covered Itsukai. Visions of Madness is basically a modern-day alternate Japan. Well, pretty much a whole alternate world, because there's magic. And because of that, a lot of historical events changed. The world's pretty much divided up into like 5 empires. Pretty much the Crusades and stuff, like everything's different because like freaking massive death because of magic. But basically the story follows Netsuki Yun. Everyone just calls her Yui because it's easier. But she is part of the Yun clan, and they basically create barriers similar to those in the anime Kakaishi, and except that they don't exist in just a spiritual realm. They actually are physical kind of barrier things that they can use. But basically, the vast majority of Visions of Madness follows them. So Natsuki and her partner Karu. I believe Karu. Yeah. Well, they basically go and try and, save the city from being destroyed by a terrorist organization who really, really wants to destroy shit. They send this giant, superly awesome death lion thing that's just like a roar and tries to destroy Japan, nomming buildings and so forth. Then the terrorists get pissed off because everyone keeps trying to fight their damn lion thing, and so they blow up Natsuki's house, supposedly killing her father. Her father really didn't die, but yeah. The whole awesome guy going into the shadows, coming out of nowhere and being like, I'm awesome, get at me. Yeah, so, but everyone thinks he's dead, and so Natsuki's brother, Neil, comes out and is just like, basically slaps shit over her and is like, you're not the heir, you're worthless, you're scum, you can't lead the family. And, because she was all sad because her dad died. And, these siblings, being that it's all a clan system and, everyone bides for something, they pretty much hate each other. So, yeah. Family rivalries. Yay! I kind of enjoyed this story. I wish it was able to continue, but people involved in it kind of left. So, yeah. Sophie also crossed over into this one, too. Yeah. So, then we have To the Skies, which follows, there's multiple stories within it, but it basically follows conflicts with an organization called the Dragon Riders against the Empire, created that's basically ran by this pretty much think Lelouch from Code Geass, except a million times more evil and a million times more pervy, I guess would be a good way to do with that, being that he was banging his the captain of his guard until eventually she tries to kill him, and yeah, because being commanded by a really, really evil douchebag who wants to destroy the planet, well, not destroy the planet, but destroy all opposition, and basically, you serve me or you die. Yeah, he was a really nice guy. He was like Emperor William or something. That was, yeah. And so, one of these stories follows that. The other story follows a different city within all that stuff. The next one then follows basically a Dragon Rider's agent who is masquerading as a rock star with her dragon comrade, who is in human form, like Arisa in the TNU Core. So this guy, roams about in a human form with his Dragon Rider, and they go on about their stuff, and eventually almost get killed by Emperor William and his nice, tasty men. Yeah. Now then. And then, so we've got those three. So some of these are just kind of like cameo stories that kind of were things that just kind of got pulled out of the, like connections. That is actually connected to Conquests. Conquests is a post-apocalyptic, basically dystopian Earth that's ran by an organization called the New Earth Government. And the New Earth Government really, really, really wants all of its citizens to go into servitude. So these pirates that control basically took over a British, the remains of a British ship, and converted it into, actually working. The New World Government does not feel very highly about the fact that these people are trying to resist them, so they try and kill them. That leads to the Branchwood organization, which is a PMC that Persephone is one of the leaders of. They basically get into a fight with the New Earth Government, and eventually Persephone meets a New Earth Government agent who basically is actually a spy for Germany, because Germany pretty much owns most of Europe by this point. There's only a couple countries left because everything else got fucked in because post-apocalyptic fun. Yeah, she works with that guy. They go to Arizona and fight a bunch of giant bugs and save the day. And then eventually they come back and save Jenna and the crew of the HMS. I don't remember what their ship's called. Marianne or some shit. Yeah, basically it's pretty much Persephone kicks ass. And post-apocalyptic world is kind of, this ended in the middle, so it really never ended. But yeah, basically Persephone and that, I think he was called Agent 5, go and kick some ass. Days of Manhattan is just a kind of 21st century spy thing. It never really went anywhere. We already went over Visions of Madness. Why are there two? EEN. That is a subplot of the TNU Core that follows the Chaos organization and its fight on Earth, trying to basically screw up Earth and kill lots and lots of people. Basically, the Chaos organization has a lot of paranormal, magic-y, necromancery stuff. Yeah, a necromancer goes and takes over a freaking tram, has a bunch of zombies on it, and tries to kill people. So the Night Hunters, which is a PMC that's not affiliated with the government, and actually the government calls them terrorists, fights this Chaos organization. Eventually, the main character, Hitomi Ryo, basically, one of the Chaos people follows her and gets really, really pissed off because he got beaten the shit out of by a Night Hunter person because Hitomi wouldn't basically just wouldn't let him screw with her. And so she goes and toys with Hitomi's boyfriend and roommates and has a fun old time. And eventually Hitomi joins the Night Hunters to fight off this bastard in spite of her I don't give a fuck personality. Yeah, guy comes and tries to kill your roommates. Of course you're going to, smash him in. So it's kind of an interesting story. Eventually EEN, Dirp, speaking to Angelsk. So eventually EEN comes to a point where the Federation government acknowledges that, hey, this stuff does exist. There are horribly bad men roaming about, bringing forth zombies and all that jazz. And they create the, basically like a paranormal police. And they throw Mimi, Mitsuki, and Arisa in there and say, guess what you get to do? You get to go fight things that shouldn't exist. Yeah. And from there we've got Shadowfire, which is the TNU core. We've got all the core stories. Justice, which is a side story of the TNU core. These are all core. The last side story is Kairoaku. Kairoaku occurs on the world of Kairu, and is actually directly connected to the TNU core backstory. And so basically, this follows, it's kind of a high fantasy science fiction. Basically, they roam about with airships. It's kind of a combination of different things that go on this planet, but it has magic, gems. The gems are what power their airships, and there is a basically country of elves called Hintori that the story actually follows the Hintori military. And the so it starts out following the two princesses of Hintori after the Hintori capital gets nuked by the Empire, and eventually the princesses meet up with Aora, who is a basically robot from really, really long time ago, and he ends up getting taught about humanity by them. And so the girls and him go and basically fight the Empire out of Hintori, which then leads to the creation of an alliance between Okinawa and other nations that are there, and eventually they basically commission Aora and put him on the airship Thor under the command of Kaori Titalos, and she basically teaches him more about humanity, and eventually just, because he has a propensity to wander around and patrol, being that he was a war android, so occasionally they just let him do his thing, and he just wanders about, and that's actually how the Allegiance of One kind of goes on, is, Aora's wandering around. He finds Shisai Karin and, I believe the guy's, Rai? Yeah, Rai. And they kind of wander around the, Hintori countryside, and eventually meet up with, Yukari Solaris and a couple of other folks, and Yukari and Aora eventually end up getting together. So, yeah. And then, basically, Aora ends up fighting Azimo Honda? Yeah, which is basically a evil robot from also an extreme past that basically is one of the two mega corporations that pretty much leave Earth and end up trying to conquer the galaxy after then being fucked in by the UDC and Starfleet and pretty much all the other human government agencies that they can get their hands on once they finally come back to Earth. So it's connected to the main TNU story, and hasn't really actually been explained how Asimo or Aura got from Earth to Cairo. But considering it's been thousands of years, they probably just floated through space or some crap. It'll be interesting if we can ever figure out how that happened. Another fun little tidbit of information. So, Into the Skies, basically the third story is kind of follows Taylor Larson and Vekoma Zool. Basically, they work for Emperor William, and are basically sent to try and kill the main characters. And eventually they realize that Emperor William's a jackass, and basically switch sides, and are eventually hunted down by Emperor William's men, and Emperor William's men try to and successfully kill Taylor, but she's then revived by the wonderful, awesome, second in command of the Dragon Riders. He is extremely epic, and basically he's like a wandering guy that just heals people. Just walks in, babbles in incoherent Middle East or frickin' medieval sayings, and then just heals people. Calls people my son and shit like that. He's a really weird guy, but he saves Taylor. And he saves, I believe he saves Cassandra in the other part of the To the Skies story. I've kind of bounced around a lot, but as you can see, the TNU project is a lot more than just the core story of spaceships go vroom, shit gets blown up, soldiers go wah. There's a lot more here. Most of it is related to soldiers in some fashion or another. But you've got a little, Japanese mecha thrown in there, some magic, your typical high fantasy stuff, couple unique things, and a lot of these also kind of have romance thrown in there in some aspect or another. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long video, but if anyone has any, questions they have on this, feel free to ask. Visions of Madness has its own wiki. There's never really, not much was done to it. And it's very under-maintained, just like the main TNU wiki, so if anyone likes this content, thinks this is a cool concept, and wants to catalog information, by all means, we've got a whole archive of forums that need cataloging. We also need art people. Please, 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 if you're good at drawing, please contact us. Anyway, it's been good, and it's been fun, but it hasn't been good fun.